little soapbox for a second.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox.
Your guide to getting found, selected, and remembered.
And now, here's Mark.
Hey, Soapboxers. Welcome to another edition of Contractor Marketing Soapbox. Unfortunately, our guest, Bailey, must be under the weather. I understand completely. So we are going to just kind of go along with the flow here. It's just going to be me talking today. So I apologize to everybody in advance who was expecting Bailey, but promise it's going to be a good show. So what was the premise behind this? Sitting down and really trying to help clients on an ongoing basis understand that Google is ever changing. They are putting new things out. They're trying new things. They're testing new things on a consistent basis, to a point where they launch things, don't tell the contractors or the service-based industry, or if they do, it's knock out all the intel or information per se. So from that perspective, we kind of wanted to have this conversation today. And I'll show you, we have a blog post up on the Leads Nearby website. We're going to go over that here in a moment. But I wanted to, let's create some ground rules just for this conversation. Google is ever changing. Google is a for-profit company. It is not something that you get for free, right? It's not a public service. Google is in business to make money. So when we understand that, we begin to understand why Google makes as many changes as they do, right? They're trying to focus or narrow the customer's engagement into areas in which Google makes money. How does Google make money? Well, pay-per-click, obviously, right? Google local service ads, obviously. When you stay on their website longer, when you stay on the Google property longer, it is more likely for you to click an ad or sponsored listing or what have you, where Google can make money. So again, it's not that they are for profit. So when we understand that, and we understand the algorithm is there, yes, they provide free listings, etc. And we're going to go and get into that a little bit here on this call. But that's the ground rules. Now, Google's constantly changing the narrative. They're adding things, testing things. Are people clicking on it? Are they not clicking on things, etc.? One of the things that kind of jumped out at a lot of people, and I don't think many were prepared for it, and I do believe it was a test, and it is going to roll out more. Ray's in the background. He's going to share a blog post that we have on the Leads Nearby website. And I want to go over this really quickly with everybody. It is publicly available. It's on our website. But generally, right, what's the one thing that we know people want to know before, as they call you, as they're reaching out through email or what have you? It's the first thing that they want to know. How much is this going to cost, right? They don't want you in their home generally, right? If they have to call an HVAC guy, it's not because they were bored. It's because they have a problem and they're hot, they're cold, they don't want to be. I hate to bring it down to that level, but it's generally the mindset, right? Yes, there are, we'll call them desire level services like indoor air quality, et cetera. Absolutely. But for the most part, it's demand. Plumbers, there's probably a little bit more on the desire standpoint, right? I don't need to replace my toilet or faucet, but I found this great deal, or I aesthetically want to change the decor, right? So there is some desire. Electricians, even more so, right? Add a ceiling fan, add pod lights, whatever. So there's elements to demand and desire. We'll get into that too as well on this call. But this blog post talks about online estimates. And what Google started to do, and it's going to be throughout the country, it's going to be in various areas of the country, okay? Because I don't think that they were ready for the influx that they got. But you're going to start seeing have AI get prices. This was at the bottom of a business listing for maps, right? Click on it, and you're asked a series of questions, little pop-ups, series of questions, and what kind of service you're looking for, how soon are you looking to make that service, et cetera, so forth. And it was really we went through the process. What happens? And I hope you did. Like, if you see stuff like this, test it. Don't assume anything. Test it. Run through it on your own personal account. See what your customers are experiencing. I cannot express to you enough. See what they are experiencing. As we went through it, what ended up happening with the client was they got the phone call. They clicked on. We're on the phone call together. We're doing a little screen share kind of meeting. They got the phone call from Google. Hey, Google's calling. Picked it up. They were expecting a normal phone call. And that was exactly the thing that we want to get across to everybody watching this, now or in the future. Google calls, answer. Normal. Don't, what do you want? Hi, Blaze nearby. How can we provide you 5-star service today? Are you accepting new clients? Yeah, sure we are. Absolutely. Right? Normal voice, normal conversation tone, etc. When they start asking about costs and price, I know that most of you listening to this do not want to give prices over the phone. So you have that aspect. You have the consumer that just wants a price, maybe a range, just an idea, ballpark. You've heard all the words, right? So somewhere in between lies the truth. Somewhere in between lies what we need to do to encourage that client to give us a. And from that perspective is how I want you to approach this. Engage your CSRs, help them understand Google may be calling, make sure you're after hours. Again, these are things that you want to be sure of. Hey, yes, Google, absolutely. We have a dispatch fee of $79, $89, $99, $130, whatever your dispatch fee is, and give them the spiel. Oh, yeah. Air conditioning repair can range from pricing from X to Y. Now, I said air conditioning repair. This has mostly been tested on plumbers so far. So, but believe me, we all believe it's coming for all the disciplines. But for the most part, right? Even if they call up how much for a water heater flush, give them a price range. I know every single one of you here rolled your eyes. Oh, really? Dude, I don't like it. Right? Absolutely. And here's why. Google is recording that phone call. They're taking that information and they've called like 20 people at this point. It's all automated. It's all AI. AI is calling you and you're answering the phone. They're recording it. They're rephrasing basically what you say in that recording and handing it back to the client in an email that these people answered their phone and this is what they said. At the bottom of the said email are the same people who did not answer their phone. These people didn't answer the phone. Do you think you're getting that opportunity? Nope. That client has already chosen the path of least resistance. They're going to continue to choose the path of least resistance. They're going to look through those things. One of the examples we did had that somebody provided a price range of like $200 to $3,000. Right? Take it serious. Please take it serious. Provide your price ranges. Right? Allow and by all means offer questions on there. Stop thinking that Google is out to get you. They're not. They're here to make money, absolutely. But it's your job. It's our job to make sure we're giving the client, their customer. Google's customer is the searcher right now. We want them to get the information that they desire. For instance, right? Hey, we have a dispatch fee of $79. Water heater flushes can vary in price from X to Y based on several factors, including age of the unit and location of the unit in the home. Thank you. Oh, I did not realize there were reasons that it could be one on the high end or one on the low end. Mention coupons. We do have a coupon on our website. Please check that out. You are welcome to make a sales pitch in this call because it is being recorded and it is basically verbatim coming back to the client. This is the tip of the iceberg. I want everybody to understand this is not going away with any stretch. This is not going away. Google's going to be continuing to test it. I've seen it for get quotes now inside of Google local service ads, right? We're going to have that going on. AI is starting to answer. You're getting those generative, how much should I be expecting to pay? Let me tell you something. And this is super important. And it gets into a lot of this in here, but always answer your phones. I saw a study the other day that 22% of phones go unanswered. I think it's higher based on what I see and quite frankly, experience from my own personal needs here at the house. So please understand that answering the phone is super important, but that's not the end of it. Yesterday, having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and we began to realize that, as you have AI get prices, they're calling you. Where's the generative engines? Where are they going to get pricing information? They're going to your website, potentially. They're going to your competitors' websites. They're going to Yelp, Angie. They're going to Thumbtack. They're going to all these places that they're trying to generate some semblance of an answer for that client, for that searcher. Be the answer. Be one of the answers. Be articulate with why there's ranges, right? Most clients don't realize that price changes or fluctuates based on circumstances. And it's important that we help people understand that. This gets into a really great book that I love, They Ask You Answer, right? Don't be afraid of offering pricing online. So there's two areas now, right? One, Google's calling you, and it won't be long before they're calling every single one of you for prices and trying to ascertain for their client, the searcher, exactly what they're looking for. Providing it online as well on your website as a price book. I have one client that has had a price book on their website for more than 10 years. I'm pausing for a second to let you know they still have it today, and they are over a $70 million a year firm. So I am not sitting here saying, put all your prices online. Absolutely not. But certainly give ranges, give ideas, give reasons that you can't give pricing online. We have all these different solutions now, right? That you can get quotes on websites. Why are people using those things? They want an idea. They don't want to be ripped off. They're sick and tired of it. I know all of you are generally going to be contractors and marketers. There's a number of you on here. Think back to your own personal usage of the internet, of contractors, anybody, right? Think back to a point where you said, I want to hire somebody to come and install a fence. What were the things that went through your mind as you went and did that? You're not a fence installer, right? You probably know how. You probably know how to dig a hole. I get it, but you're not a fence installer. What are the things that went through your mind? I can almost guarantee you price was at the top of the list. Convenience, options, what it looked like? Sure, absolutely. Me personally, I hired a fence guy, gave him a 50% deposit, and he disappeared into that good night. I thought I was experienced in this. Like I thought I could vet out this guy. Nope, sure couldn't. Declared bankruptcy as I handed him my check, basically. So next fence guy that came in, boy, was I had my radar up. But this is what's happening with your clients, with your customers, with your potential customers. They're tired of being ripped off. Be the leader, right? Don't beat around the bush. Give prices where appropriate. give explanations where they're not. Talk about it. Again, that book was amazing. They Ask You Answer. There was a follow-up book to that called Endless Customers. I can't recommend them enough, just from a standpoint of understanding that people online are looking for answers now. Generative engines have absolutely changed the game when it comes to that. And I encourage all of you, understand Google is a for-profit firm. They're there to make money. And along the way, hopefully you do. One last thought on all of this, as far as Google changing and quotes and everything else like that. I know you've been trained, you've been brought up to think and hey, I got to get in that home. I've got to figure it out, right? Because then they're going to buy from me at that point in time. I talked to a couple of clients who started to embrace this pricing thing from an online perspective. They started giving their CSRs sales training. They started giving their CSRs not just training on how to book the call, but they started giving them ideas on how to training on sales, answering the phone and hey, that pricing thing, right? We're not allowed to give pricing online. Okay, bye, click. Right? They started giving them pricing or a sales training to help that person get through that objection. Understand what the mental approach is over on the other side of that phone so that they can get from them the ultimate goal of a booked appointment. But you have to start answering questions in order to do so. So this particular company had a list, literally gave their CSRs lists. Here's some general pricing that you're welcome to give out over the phone while you book the call. The caveat, and I hope somebody takes this away and I hope somebody uses it. And I hope somebody, tells me how well it worked. You get to ask the questions. I would love to give you a price. I need to know X, Y, Z first. Get from them what they're asking you for something. You have every right and ability to ask them for something. How old is the home? How long have you lived there? Is this the first time you've been replaced? Right? Ask questions. Hey, where are you located? Have you ever used this before? Right? Literally score this call. That's how you handle pricing questions when they come in. Book the call. Y'all heard my podcast, the Power Selling Pros and Brigham. Like, don't just say thank you and move on with your day. Get that person on the phone and ask them questions. You have every right to ask questions if they've asked you a pricing question. Every right. Now you can determine, hey, well, that's in an area that I really want to work. That's in a house, in a neighborhood I want more work in, right? Oh, wow, they've got whatever, right? That's how you score that call and give pricing online, especially if you're not busy, especially if you are looking at an empty schedule next week or even tomorrow, right? Look at the opportunity. I had another client, and I loved this story. I gave him the idea, and he's using it in a very, I'm going to frankly say it, a unique way. Was, hey, it's a little slow right now in different areas of the country, but if you have somebody call in looking for a price, ask them, did they get a quote from anybody else? Yeah, I'll beat that quote by 15% if you're able to book today. He was booking calls left and right. Oh, yeah, I got a quote right here. Somebody gave me a quote online. Great, I'll beat it by 15%. You got another quote from someplace? I'll beat it by 15%. Like, he was using the idea of price matching, that kind of thing, and just saying, I'll beat it if you book today. He's using the idea of that person is kind of shopping around for a price, and if I'm not busy, I'd like to have a new client, please. So we've gone around. I really encourage you to read the blog post on the Leads Nearby website. Ray will post a link to it here. I encourage the book. It talks a lot about offering price online, not being afraid of it, comparing yourself to your competitors, and talking about brands, right? This new year, this new generative engine AI world, I want you to have one mindset. You need to be the teacher. If you're the follower, that's all you'll ever be. If you're using AI to write content for your website, that's just a regurgitation of what Google already knows, or what search engines in general already know. Be the thought leader. You want to be that thought leader in your market. You want to be the person that says yes to pricing online. You want to be the person that says, sure, I'll tell you all about brands that I recommend. You want to be the thought leader. And when you have that mindset, here, I gave this to a client the other day, and it kind of rang true. And I'll leave you with this thought. If we imagine that Google, you've heard the Google spider, the Google algorithm, constantly looking for information and just all over the place, following links, and et cetera, so forth. Great, right? What is Google looking for when it gets to your website? Used to be, I mentioned AC repair 3 times in the first paragraph, have my title tag, and right. It used to be all that. I got you. A couple backlinks, we're good. What is Google looking for today? I'm going to answer that question in a moment, but let's turn the tables. Let's say Google called you and said, hey, we're redoing all of our search results. The algorithm called you. We're redoing all their search results. Why do you deserve to be number 1? Go ahead. The answer that Google's looking for is not that you're the best looking guys and gals in the area, not that you get the most well-stocked trucks, not that you get the best brand or logo, not any of those things. Best warranties, guarantees, you got a smile on your face, you roll a red carpet out, whatever it is, they do not care. What Google cares about is they want to hear, thank you for asking me that question, Google. We want to educate your client, the searcher, on that topic, air conditioner repair, plumber, electrician, whatever it is, on that topic by content within our website. Not only about AC repair, what types of AC repairs? What should you expect during an air conditioning repair or a plumbing service? What should you answer the questions surrounding the topic? Your site should be a fortress of new, fresh, ongoing content. It should be constantly being updated. As a website is never finished, right? We use a tool called Nearby Now, right? Constant information going into the website, photos, etc. That ability, yes, Google loves that stuff. Blogs, sure, FAQs, another opportunity. That's how you get Google's attention. That's how you get this generative engine's attention, right? Still, all the basics of SEO are still in play. But now we got to think about GEO, AIO, AO. My industry loves acronyms, so we'll just keep on using them. My point being to all of this, be the thought leader. That includes answering your phones right and often. I know when a phone call comes in and you're like, I don't know that number. It's spam. It's out of the area code, right? I get it. Answer the phone. If it's spam, hang up. I get it. But at the same token, same time, that one call might be Google calling you, asking, hey, why should we rank you? More than likely, you're asking about pricing, but you get my point, right? Be the thought leader on your website, at the CSR level, where you're answering the phones, your website. Be the leader. Look around you. Look around at your competitors. I know you're sitting there going, oh, my marketing firm should be doing this. Yeah, but we need your help to do it. You do not want your marketing firm answering costs on air conditioning repair or brands that they recommend for air conditioning repair or air conditioning systems. You do not want your marketing company doing that. Why? Because we are not the expert on those things. You are. Lean on your marketing company. Give us that information, those photos, those videos, the commentary. We will eat that up all day long. I hope y'all took something away from this. I hope you go and read that blog post that we have on the website. I hope my friend Bailey is doing very well. And I know she wishes she was here, but I am 100% available. Ray, post my email on here, marketleadsnearby.com. Feel free to ping me there. I have zero issue with that. Go through our website as well. If you have questions on any of this, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. It's been an absolute pleasure today. Ray, do we have any questions at all? Anything pop up? What about using blogs to answer pricing questions? Hi, Lauren. So there's a question that popped up. Thanks, Ray. Yes, blogs can absolutely answer the questions that people are asking. I cannot express to you enough. A blog is great. We want to use blogs every time to answer people's questions. The other day, I was talking to actually an electrician, and I was asking him if there was any code changes and what that downward impact was of the code change. He's like, oh, yeah, well, it's this, that, and I'm like, that's a blog. Well, people aren't searching for that. No, they're not. But Google will reward you for being a thought leader as an electrician for that topic. Pricing. Sure. Have an entire blog post about ceiling fan installation. Like, I love that. No, you get narrow it down right down to the type, or the instead of having a whole list of prices, narrow it down. Have blogs for each one of them. Great opportunity. Embrace it. It's an excellent question, Lauren. I really appreciate that. No, I do not recommend giving a wide range of pricing, and here's why. For a particular service, okay? So I want you to think of it this way, and explain it this way to your clients, right? Hey, our range goes from here to here. It can go more and it can go less, but the 80% rule applies to pricing. It falls in this range. 200, let me give you the perfect example. One of the tests that we did had a range from $225 to $3,000. The next answer down that we got, it was a water filtration system inquiry that we made on that AI. The next person who answered on the way down said our range starts around 300 and goes to 1,000. My immediate reaction, and everybody that read it was, oh yeah, I just stick with that guy, right? Why is that? Our brains we're psychologically, we look at it, right? I want the low price, but I know they're going to come back and they're going to give me that high price, right? That's why they said 3,000. We're making assumptions as consumers before we even call you to give you the opportunity to ask the questions you need to ask. Narrow the range down as best you can. A wide range is just opening up interpretation, assumptions. What does assumption mean? Right? It opens up for assumptions. And I don't want that for anybody. That when you allow somebody to make an assumption, that's it, without having had that conversation with them, that gives a poor, let's say a poor look and feel. It doesn't give them the facts and tell them why, especially in those phone calls, but on your website too, right? Ceiling fan installation, $250 to could be upwards of $750. What would impact it from there? Are you supplying the fan? Where is it located? Do I need to bring scaffolding? Like, there's all kinds of things that are going through your mind. You have every right to ask, or line item out as, hey, these are considerations that we have to take into account. Excellent question. My friend Bailey's in the background, and I didn't realize that. So I'm going to ask Bailey to come on in. Hello, Miss Bailey.
Hello.
How are you?
How's it going?
Good. So somebody has your phone number.
Yeah, that's me.
Was you? Okay.
It was.
I apologize. I had it stuck on the wrong screen, so I didn't see that you were trying to pop your head in there.
It's okay.
I'm gonna stop talking for a minute. I would love you to give the audience here your experience when it came to using that AI price getter. And are you guys receiving any calls like that at this point in time?
Yeah, so when you invited me onto this podcast, I thought it was interesting because since the first day that I got a phone call, I had not received another one. And it was interesting because when we received a phone call asking pricing, a live person picked up and like verified that we were a real business. And then it went to an automated system asking questions. And then it asked the questions, then hung up. And
Oh,
and that happens twice in one day. And then I have not received a phone call since.
so that is a little perplexing.
Mm-hmm.
Google making on the fly changes. I'll be honest with you, and I'm sure some people here probably went running and tried to recreate seeing that little have AI get pricing. I wasn't able to recreate it over the last several days.
No, I haven't been able to recreate it either.
And I have a feeling that was a Google test, see how it went, and then they're either going to roll it out or they're going to make a way for people to have to pay for it. But the idea is to understand that this is Google and keeping vigilant on what they're offering, what they're doing, not assuming the worst in some cases. I was reading a Facebook group chat and somebody hung up on Google because they thought it was a scam.
Mm-hmm.
And you could probably totally see that being a scam if you weren't aware of it prior to it. But nevertheless,
It sounds just like a scam, Mark, because when you answer and you do your normal greeting for a business, they say hello, like it's an automatic pickup type thing.
yep.
And then they say this is a recording from Google, and then it transfers automatically to an AI voice. So it does sound exactly like a spam call. But I feel like if you hang up on those customers or on those phone calls, you're going to end up hurting yourself in the long run.
I'm making a connection. I don't have proof of it, but anecdotal at this point in time, because Google learns from everything, right? If Google sees that you're answering the phone and something like that, that helps them understand, oh, they're Google local service ads. They must be answering their phone over there properly.
Yes.
You're not answering your phone or hanging up on them. Oh, right. Does that go into the algorithm for Google local service ads? I would assume so. Yes. Google's learning. All their algorithms learn. And it's all semi-connected at some point. Why poke the bear at that point? And not give Google what they're looking for, because I believe that it's going to impact everything downstream.
I will say that they have a little bit to go because I did a test on myself. So I saw the check AI pricing when I searched for AC repair, and I put in my information, and then it sent me an email and said, we're going to check on pricing for you and we'll email you back with results. And then Airbros got a phone call and asked me those questions, and I never received a follow-up email from Google whatsoever.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. It's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I guess that the best thing that I can, Google's going to change, Google's going to test, Google's going to modify and move things around to the benefit of Google. As long as Google's making money, they're going to do these things. They're looking for ways to make more money. Google local service ads weren't always the same as they are today, and they will probably continue to be morphed and modified. We're seeing that already with multiple images showing up now in the display, drawing your eye in. They're going to be testing you. How often do you answer the phone? Do you answer the phone after hours or when you say you're open? Like, there's a lot of things that are going to go into these algorithms, because Google, there's no shortage of companies in your area trying to get to the top of that list. Google needs reasons to put you down, put you up, move you in. Hey, I'm making money from this person. Yeah, it's not always about budget. It's about, are they making money? Is there a constant, do I have to give money back and all this other stuff? Credits, I should say. So bottom line for everybody listening, and I know this has been kind of long, and I apologize, it got a little janky there with our timing on this, but for everybody here listening in, understand Google is a for-profit firm. They're looking to make money, and it shouldn't be your only means of generating income. It is a demand area. When I have a demand, I go to Google to do a search to find a service. I am not always on Google. And I think that for a lot of contractors, there's this misnomer that there's this constant, ever increasing amount of people every day searching for what you do. It's not. Especially in the heating and air company business, right? You're a rare breed if you wake up one day and say, hey, I'm just going to call a random HVAC company, spend $4,000 with them. There's a problem. You're hot and cold. You didn't want to be. How do I need to find a solution. And it's that point. You want to be there. It's a little different for plumbers, a little bit different for electricians, as I started out at the beginning of this. But answer those phones. And be that leader in your area. Billy, I know you and I have gone round and round with this as content for the Airbro site, et cetera. So did you happen to read that book yet, that They Ask You Answer?
I have, yes.
What did you think of it?
I think it's great. And I think that it's so important, because we have to, especially in times like this where AI is taking over, and you have to be even more mindful of how you're making yourself unique in this industry and showing value, and answering questions is the generation today wants instant answers. They don't want to wait. We have seen more than ever people price shopping, and they just want to check prices everywhere. Yep. And just get the best price. You have to figure out how to show value beyond just giving a price. Absolutely. And so, I think that if you haven't read that book, it's a great book, and it's going to show you how you can show value with the generation that just wants instant answers.
100%. It's and with that mindset, that is how you're feeding those generative engines out there. You want to be the feeder. You want to be that information resource they're coming to. And that type of book really allows you the mental capacity to understand, oh, yeah, all right, that makes a lot of sense. And the funny part about They Ask You Answer, this was written years before AI was a thing. This was written well before that. And it was a pool guy up in Virginia that was just using his website as a lead generator. And his story is very powerful, and I think we can still learn a lot from it today. I appreciate any questions pop up at all while I have Miss Bailey on the phone, on the call. Bailey, I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for finally letting me on the podcast, Mark. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, and I apologize for the little janky intro, but we will get better at this and other things as well. Bailey, thank you again.
Thanks.
Be safe, dear.
Bye.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox. Call Mark to learn more. 919-758-8420.